Welcome to The Gateway, broadcasting from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips into the cracks. We are live on United Radio Network 107.7 FM New Orleans, and I'm your host, C.L. Thomas. Tonight, I am somewhere 35,000 feet on a plane making my way home from New York City. But lucky for you, we can pre-record shows. Actually, I'm not coming back from New York City. I'm coming back from Lilydale. But anyway, my guest tonight is Shawn Kelly, the host of Into the Night, and I thought we could just take a minute and catch up on a few things in the paranormal and have a little bit of a chit chat. So, you know me, you just never know what I'm going to say. So stay tuned and let me get Shawn on here.
Come on. Get me on.
Hi, Shawn.
There we go.
For some reason, I'm having a lot of technical issues.
Just call me Moses. Look at my beard.
You look like Moses. You know, Moses.
You know what? That's okay. We'll see how it goes.
Moses was good at speaking to God. So did you get a message?
Yet? White beard, white scraggly hair and shit. You know, maybe I'm Moses in a past life or something. I don't know.
Do you have a message for us? Since Moses brought us the 10 Commandments. What do you have? Hey, Shawn, you're fading out.
I didn't hear you, honey. You were.
Yeah, you got a really bad connection for some reason.
You were right.
Can you hear me?
No, I don't know why. My thing is good. Yeah. I can hear you real well. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I was asking you.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Moses brought us the 10 Commandments. You still not hearing me, are you?
Yes.
I'm talking to you. You're not hearing.
You're breaking in and out. You're breaking in and out. That's what you're doing. Okay. All right. Now, the reason why I say that I'm Moses, all right, because look at the white beard. All right. Look at the hair. Now, if you saw Charleston Heston, as Moses, right, in the 10 Commandments, right, kind of look like him a little bit, don't you think?
A little bit.
Don't you think? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Yeah, there you go. So what do you want to talk about? First of all, thank you for having me on tonight.
Shawn, I just don't know what to say about these paranormal people sometimes.
Like what? Talk to me, honey. Talk to me.
The bullying. When a celebrity
Why do you think they... Yeah. Go ahead.
When a celebrity doesn't get what they want, they automatically post something online on their social media and stuff. And what happens is they entice their fans to go after specific individuals. And this happens again and again and again. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, I have with other people, especially you and other people who speak out against them. But they don't touch me. For some reason, they don't touch me. It must be the Moses look or something. I don't know.
Well, they typically
when it comes to people, I believe it's like egotistical things for an actor, you know what I mean? And shit like that. And it's not worth it. I mean, I can't say that word on the show. But no, it's a bunch of egotistical sons of bitches and sons of biatches, something like that. And I'm being honest with you, they have no right to dog you. Okay, I mean, it's not like they're making millions of dollars and stuff like that. So what? The jackasses that go to Paracon or anything like that, all they are is, if I'm not mistaken, they're celebrities on TV and have a ghost show or something like that.
Or
I
had.
mean, it's a run of the mill. They had one. Well, you know what? They must have did something wrong. If they had one, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why they bully you, CL. Honestly,
because I speak out.
You're the nicest person in the whole wide world.
I tell you why. It's because I speak
And
out.
that's okay to speak out. That's what we're here for.
And I'll tell you what happened. And
and you're allowed to. And you're allowed to.
This might get me in a little bit of trouble here, but there is a well-known lady in the industry.
I got your back.
She has a tour company, and with tours that go overseas, things happen, right? No tour overseas is perfect, but to be an ambassador on this tour, you have to, like, if you were to be an ambassador on this tour, Shawn, you would have to sell so many seats on that tour. And you would have to advertise it. It's in a contract. You have to advertise it so many times, right? So what's happening is these celebrities that are getting on these tours, and I've been on tour with one of them already who did nothing. He refused to do the ghost hunting side of it. There was 2 investigations. He pretty much said, "Oh, I get paid to do this for a living," handed the recorder to somebody else and walked off, left us there by ourselves. He sat in the back of the bus the entire time, didn't do anything on this trip as an ambassador, nothing. Now we have some other celebrities who were scheduled to be on our tour, and they didn't advertise it. They brought nobody to the table. I think one guy had 2 people for a 30-seat tour. And so she had to cancel with him, and these people got upset about it and started throwing her under the bus. And so what happened was this guy starts on his own tour, right? Which is fine. I support everybody who starts a tour. It's not about the tour. I run a travel magazine, so I support all of that stuff. I don't really care who it is. I will support you if you have a tour. But this guy took it a step further, and all the celebrities that she either canceled with because they didn't fill their quota, or she felt like they weren't fulfilling their end of the contract. They're all upset with her. And so now what's happening is they're attacking her. So under this tour thing that he started, he's weaponized his entire people who go to these Paracons, who, quite frankly, they don't even sign up for these tours to begin with because they don't have the money to do so. But he weaponized all of them, and they're all on there like just totally disenfranchising her business. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a word for that, but it doesn't matter. And the celebrities,
they're throwing her business under the bus.
Yes, and so the celebrities are on there saying stuff. All these celebrities that got canceled from these tours, as well, like, and making it like they're totally gaslighting her, like she's the bad guy. This kind of bullying nonsense in this field has to stop. Flat out, it has to stop.
Well, how do we do it?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Any ideas?
Is it because of money?
Okay. Probably. They're not the celebrities that you were saying that were some, especially that dude. He's probably expecting to get paid big bucks for doing this, and he's not going to get it. And in his mind, he's probably thinking, why should I put all this effort into this and I'm not making a cent? And so instead of him, going out doing the footwork and getting people to go on this tour, right? He, you know what I mean? He's just being downright lazy. and it's not fair. It's not fair to the girl who I think I know who you're talking about, the lady,
Yeah.
and she
Full
seems to
person.
be a very very nice lady, and I all I can come up with for UCL is that it's definitely karma going on with that dude. I'm telling you, something's going to happen, and something's going to bite him in the ass, and he's going to regret it later, and that's the truth. I mean, and it's nothing for me to laugh at him. I feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for him because it, and I know when we do shows, we've been doing them for a while now, right? We bust our asses to get people to come on our shows. Or if we
Right.
don't get anybody on our shows, then we have to come up with a topic to talk about, you know? And
Yes.
it's not just like we sit around and wait, until the very last minute and come up with something, Look how many people we have got to come on as guests, and at the last moment they cancel. So what do you say? Okay, then I got to come up with a topic. And you know what, CL? Thank God I'm Irish because I know how to talk.
I'm still
Okay.
not very good at coming up with a show on my own. I'm always too shy to talk about myself the whole time.
I,
Or
I
talk.
don't even talk about myself. I just pick a topic and go with it, man. And they're going to listen. Everybody's going to be listening to the show, and that's why sometimes when I don't have a topic, I put in open discussion, and I'll find. And for me, to be honest with everybody out there, um, I'll be at work, okay, on Saturday night or Sunday morning, and all of a sudden a topic will come into my head, you know, and I'll read a little bit and just say, hey, why don't I just use that? And then just go from there. And then I play off the audience on, when they start asking questions and stuff like that. And when I come up with the people, I just like totally be honest with them, and I just talk. And people know that I come up with topics like at the very last moment. I'm not afraid to say. But the jackass like that knew he had time. Okay, he knew he had time to get it all together, and he was just downright lazy. He probably, I guarantee it, he probably had some other people trying to get people for him to go on this trip. I've no doubt in my mind.
I don't
And
know.
and it really bothers me that they come in and they try to push you around. It just
And
like
me
just
around, it's I kind of warranted it because I said something on I'll tell you what happened. So there's a Paracon going on, and one of the guys that's on this Paracon totally decided to not support anything I do, such as the magazine. He sees it as a direct conflict with what he's doing because another magazine has given his project a whole lot of money. And I can understand that. That's business, right? I
right.
thought we were friends though. I supported these guys for years. I thought they were friends. And no, totally not at all. So when we did a joint promotion last year for one of the tours that this other company was doing, and the promotion was if you got on the tour, you would get a free copy of my magazine, and you would get so much off of this streaming show that was coming out. So whenever these guys put out their promotions for it, guess who they left off? Me. They left off the magazine I was
You
doing. Yeah, intentionally because they saw it as a direct conflict with this other magazine that paid them X amount of dollars to promote. I don't even know what it was, but they're two different magazines, and I don't understand. I don't understand it.
people are ignorant. And to
You
be
know,
honest with you, they are. I mean,
this
what? Go ahead.
this guy is now going to be a speaker at this one Paracon, and I said I'm going to swallow my pride and promote this for another friend that's in it. So I posted it on Facebook. And then all this other stuff happened this past week with this tour group. And that guy is a speaker at this. So you know what? I took it down, and I told people, you know what? I'm not going to support this anymore based on the actions of a few people who are speaking. I just can't go with that. That's bullying. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And so that's what started the whole thing. Next thing I know, I'm getting emails, and like they weaponized their fans to go against people.
That's not cool. That's not good. In fact, I'm going to tell you what, CL. I will say something about it on Sunday nights, on my Sunday night show. Well, the Sunday night coming up, since this is recording, you know what I mean. But I'm gonna say something about that, because they're a bunch of idiots. They really are. If it wasn't for people like you and other people getting their names out there, they wouldn't be where they're at right now.
And well, these are celebrities, though, or you know, they had a show 5 years ago, and
so what? So what? Who gives a crap if they had a show? So what? So what? I had a show back in 2012. I had 13 episodes. I'd had to pay for those shows myself, okay, to get on TV. And it's not like where it got me now. I wasn't waiting for Hollywood to knock on the door, you know what I mean, or other paranormal shit. And so after I did that, I started Paranormal Pittsburgh, another TV show, and only made it for like three videos, 3 TV appearances on it, because I just couldn't afford it, right? But it didn't get me to where I needed to be. You know, I busted my ass, just like you're busting your ass, okay? And you are. And there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, okay? Because I have a tendency of opening my mouth, right? And calling it as it is. I really do. And you know, it must be the Pittsburgh in us. It's got to be.
It's got
to be the Pittsburgh.
I never thought about that. It's got to be. We'll tell you like it is.
Yeah, so, we're from Pittsburgh, and we're hardcore, man. We tell it as it is. But you know what? I when people want to step on me, you know, go ahead. I don't care. You know, do it. You know, if you want to call me every name in the book, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. You know, at first, at the beginning, but after a while, I just came to realize that I don't need that much. You know, I'm just going to go out and continue doing what I'm doing. You know, I don't have a magazine like you. I don't think I could do a magazine like you. I give you a bunch of kudos for that.
It's very hard.
I know I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
It's really hard.
You know,
but it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I bet. You could put my face, Moses. Here's Moses on the cover of your next magazine. Well, here's Moses. Let's see. This is the CL I like. This is the CL that smells. Okay.
I smell.
This is what I like to see. No, I know that came out wrong. It's because I have no teeth. Okay. My big beard is covering my no teeth. But no, you don't. It just do what you're doing. That's why I could just do what you're doing. Do it for you, because it's all about you. And the hell with everybody else. You don't need to deal with the bullying. Just let them go, man. I'm one ear, not the other.
I just wonder about it though, because there's so much.
I see how it brings you.
There's so much drama in the paranormal field.
Because people bring it on themselves. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I just feel like.
You know what? Go ahead.
I feel like we've really lost what this field. We've lost what this field was, how it was started, the purpose of why it was started. Or at least I feel like it is.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. It's not like how it used to be. 2022, I gave up paranormal investigating. First of all, because I was getting too old. Um, Staying out till 3 in the morning and going to work at 8 in the morning. I just couldn't do that no more like I used to. Second of all, there was starting a lot of bunch of bull crap going on. And I just said, I've been through this so many times. I refuse to go through this again. And so one day, what happened was I just said enough's enough, and I dropped PPS, and did I didn't um, didn't do any more investigations, but I do help people. I help other groups. I dropped PPS, and then I was doing podcasts, and I, I like podcasting. I've been doing it for over 5 years now, and I enjoy this a lot better. I don't have to keep getting people to go on an investigation. I don't have to find places. So I'm happy and content where I'm at right now with myself with that. Who knows? Maybe I might just go on and do an investigation one day. Maybe I'll go to the Sahara Desert and do one of them ghost times. That's my goal in 3 or 4 years when I retire. Head
To
out
come down
west. Yeah, seriously. We
here?
could,
Come on.
me and you could investigate and do some ghost towns. Like I want to do that kind of stuff. But as of it right now, hon, nah. It's not like it used to be. Here's what bothers me a lot, though, too, is how I see online, and I'm not going to mention names, but I see a lot of paranormal groups that set up investigations, okay? And they charge a lot of money for people to go investigate.
Yeah, especially
And
if you have a celeb.
not even with the celebrity.
Hmm.
It's just like we have certain amount of tickets left, and this is how much they are per ticket. Hurry up and get your ticket. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm not going to pay all that just to go on and do an investigation. I can understand that penitentiary down there in West Virginia. I can understand like Prospect Place. I can understand Eastern Penitentiary. I can understand that. Of course, you're going to pay, you know, because all the ghost shows have been there. You know what I mean? And so, and I get pissed off at the places like that too. The USS North Carolina, the battleship. Come on, all right. Well, wherever the big shot paranormal TV shows went, okay, they charge an arm and a leg, and they're not into it to make it, to do redo it, or do any fixings or whatever. I'm kind of lost for words. I'm doing a salad bowl talking here, and but no, it's just not right anymore. People do not go out and just grab a camera and an EVP with a couple people, 3 or 4 people, and just go to a cemetery anymore. They just don't do it. They all have to film it. They all have to put it all on YouTube. You know what I mean? And God bless them. You know what I mean? Like I tell everybody on my show, and I tell everybody, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not. I can't judge them. And so if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
I
But
feel like
eventually,
they're missing
what's
out
that,
if
babe?
that's you're missing out if that's all you do is try to be on TV with this stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I know you wrote a book, and I'm not directing this at you, okay? Because we had this conversation before, okay? If you want to be on TV, write 3 or 4 books, get them published, do a couple book signings, and then get somebody to make a movie out of it. And who's that sound like?
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah,
is a very heavy controversy right now, too.
it sure is. It
Again.
really is.
And what gets me about that whole situation, I get it. The doll is not responsible for to things that's happened, right?
Correct.
But as someone that works in media, if you're pushing a certain agenda to the general public over and over and over again, guess what? They don't know the inner politics of the paranormal world. They don't
Right.
know what's real and what's, they don't know anything about the Warrens. They don't know, other than what we're pushing as a narrative to them. So if you're
Mhm.
continually pushing a certain narrative, oh, you shouldn't touch this doll, she shouldn't come out of the glass, she shouldn't do this, she shouldn't do that, just to make money, because let's be real, that's what that is, just to
Yep.
make money, and to, you set the stage, oh, fear the doll, and you played off of that for years to get money. All of a sudden, something happens. What do you think the media is going to do in the general
It's
public?
the correct. It's the doll's fault.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
And
And she screwed up.
you have all these paranormal investigators that are getting mad and putting, there's another celebrity, of course, is at the core of this, and bullying people over it. And it's like, well, that's the narrative you pushed for the last 13 years on
Right.
this. Of course, they're going to say stuff like that. You've
Hmm.
set that stage for that.
Right. Exactly. Um, they, I mean, trust me, I've been doing this the shows on this Annabelle doll for like the last couple of weeks, and I was reading up where she actually said, you know, do not let this doll out of the case because there's not a demon, not a demon, but a malevolent spirit that is attached to this doll. And people bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Mm-hmm.
And all the paranormal investigators that I know who I am friends with, and I can actually tell these people are like top of the line paranormal investigators, they'll come out and tell you straight out that doll didn't kill that dude. It didn't. I mean, but oh, how about when 911 went down in Pennsylvania? The doll was in Gettysburg. So freaking what? That doll didn't cause 911 to go down. Okay, and the doll was in Texas, and they had a massive flood down in Texas. Oh, the doll's here in Texas. So, oh my gosh, the damn doll did it, and the damn doll didn't do it. It didn't. You know what I mean? Look at a haunting in Connecticut. They really, oh man, they get on my nerves. I mean, they went in, and it's funny if you look on YouTube, if you Google YouTube, or go on YouTube and you look up a haunting in Connecticut, the people whose house it was, they really didn't like them two at all. They didn't. People were, I mean, they were just happy that the ghost went away or whatever malevolent demonic spirit, you know what I mean? Um, you know, did, but they didn't like the two famous couple, the famous couple there. But the man of that famous couple, right? His writer, he only had one writer. He didn't go to nobody else. They had one writer to write stories. And the gentleman said, well, the story, make it sound scary as hell, quote unquote. And that's how it began. And then they made a movie about it, and they made tons of money. When the lady of that couple, said that about the Annabelle doll, okay, um, that book was just coming out, and the movie was just starting to being shown, made. So how else to make money? Say something stupid. That's why probably people probably bought it. I know you. I've been on a lot of investigations. I saw the movie, The Conjuring, right? Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, girl! I've been the worst investigations than that. Seriously. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding. And there's people going to be out there right now. They're going to be listening to me, and they're going to be saying that I'm egotistical. I'm not egotistical at all. Um, I am a good at paranormal investigator. I know my shit. I've been on a lot of them, and I just do not like the way Hollywood is, or TV land is actually bringing us out.
Right.
Um, I don't like the way they're doing it. Yeah, if you really want to know how to be a paranormal investigator and you want something really exciting, find a group, go out with them, and then
Don't
you'll
go to
see
a
how.
paracon.
And then, yeah,
And
you're
don't
not a
go to a
paracon.
paracon because you're just not going to find it there.
No, no, you're going to find a bunch of assholes out there. No, I didn't mean to say that. Shh, didn't mean to say that. Didn't mean to say that. Um, but no, it just. I spoke at one a long time ago in Butler, and I did okay. It was nice. I felt great that I was invited to speak. You know what I mean? And I spoke and I told my story and I told um, all kinds of other stuff. But I realized that this Paracon, which was a big one here in Pittsburgh, right? Hardly anybody came and listened to the speakers. They didn't.
Well,
They did not.
how long ago was that, Shawn?
It was in Butler. I would have to say, oh shit, how long ago? I want to say 3, 4 years ago. I was in Butler. It was in Butler. No, 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 no. The Monroeville Expo Center. It was in Monroeville. It was in Monroeville that I spoke.
Um, what I've noticed, let's cut to a break real quick, and then I'll get back
Okay,
into this. How about that?
sounds like a plan, honey.
You're listening to the Gateway Podcast with special guest Shawn Callie, host of Into the Night, right here on 107.7 FM radio. If paranormal legends and locations keep you up at night, and you'll definitely want to check out Eerie Expeditions magazine. Here's more on that.
It's a good read.
Have you been able to check it out, Shawn?
Yes, I have. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'd rather have listened to it on audio though, because audio make a little bit better for me.
I can't seem to find the commercial here.
It's
Oh, here
on
it is.
there. They rearranged everything on StreamYard, so good luck
All right,
finding it.
let's take a quick break.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
And we're back. You're listening to the Gateway Podcast, broadcast from the edge of the Mojave Desert. And my guest tonight is Shawn Callie. He's host of Into the Night. And we're just kind of chit-chatting tonight about the state of the paranormal. I'm a little bit pissed. I think it's fair to say that. We were just talking about these paracons and how are these paracons going? And Shawn, you mentioned that when you went to one of these paracons, it seemed like nobody was going to actually hear the speakers. Now, what I've noticed in the past, I'd say the past year, I started going to a couple of them. I spoke at a couple of them. What I've noticed is the only people who attend these things are other vendors. And on top of that, you
Yes,
have
yes,
diehard followers. It's almost like a cult following that jump from convention to convention just to hear the celebrity that they're following. So to me, this thing is not growing, it's shrinking. I feel like these paracons are just going to be done pretty much from what I see from the state of things. There's maybe a handful that's doing really well, but I even question if they're doing well if the only people attending are other vendors.
And that's one thing. When I was at the Monroeville one, there was a ton of vendors, a lot of paranormal groups, a lot of podcasts, paranormal podcast people in there, and God bless them. They make some money. They make some money. I mean, if that's what they, kind of like to enjoy, I was walking around with my friend, and I tried to stay incognito, if you know what I mean. I did, because I don't want to. I can't deal with crowds, I can't. And but people recognized me, and they came up and they talked to me, but I listen to them. I don't, strike up conversations and like, can I buy you dinner or whatever like that. And I talk to them. They ask questions. I remember the one time I did a talk up at the Westmoreland Community College. One time they had like over 500 people in that, and I was like, holy crap. Yeah, there was a lot of people in there, and a lot of people remember me from that conference, But something like that, I enjoy to do. You know what I mean? Going to Paracon cons, no, I really don't want to. I'd like to go to a Dragon Con or something like that, something different. But when it comes to Paracons, no. I believe that my paranormal enthusiastic mysticisms that I got for the paranormal, it's like dwindling. I mean, I go to Gettysburg, and there's a lot of people in Gettysburg that know who I am. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I see them maybe once or twice a year, and that's about it. And they're good people up there, And some are celebrities up there too, which is so cool, They know me, and when they do their celebrity act up there, I just let them do what they got to do. You know what I mean? They're good people. I know they're good people, and I know they're not out for just money. I know that they're there to actually literally help people. And they enjoy paracons and stuff like that.
Who is that?
To be honest with you, Steve,
I don't know anybody that's really out there to help anybody. I feel like most of these TV people are just out there for the money.
Well, she's not on TV.
Okay.
She is. She's not on TV, but she helps out the TV shows. To be honest with you, I really don't want to mention her name right now.
You don't have to say her name or anything.
No, I don't. No. That's why that couple that we talked about, I don't want to say their names. Everyone knows who I'm talking about, but no, I don't want to put her out there without her permission. You know what I mean? Because she isn't in it for the glamour. She isn't in it for the notoriety. People know who she is, and people do go and talk to her, and she will take them out on ghost hunts and not charge anything. And that's how it should be.
And that and that's where that's somebody that's there for the real reasons.
Yes, and that's the same way. It's the same way I would be, CL. If somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, Shawn, I really would like to do an investigation," I said, "Okay, grab about 3 or 4 people, and I'll take you to a place where you can go." You know what I mean? And I would be more than happy to take you. You can ask me as many questions as you want. But if you act like a bunch of knuckleheads, then I'm going to walk away from you. That's why I look at it. Seriously, yeah.
In your opinion, how did we go from... It seemed like the field really started out with genuine people who were looking for answers. And then a TV show started. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first season of some of these shows, it was all about finding answers for people who had hauntings in their homes and things like that. Now, nobody even does home investigations anymore.
Nope. Not at
How
all.
did we get away from that
And I'll
like
tell
that?
you why. Well, because of the ghost shows. Okay, to be honest with you, I mean, how many are on TV now? Um, People don't ask for private investigations anymore at their houses because the last 5, 6 years, hon, honestly, um, they don't need to because they watch it on TV and they automatically say, okay, ghosts are okay, and I don't want nobody coming into my house. There's nothing in my house. There's a spirit in my house, but, I can live with it. And toward the end of me doing house investigations, people were okay for letting the ghost stay in their house. They were okay with it. What they did not like was waking the people up at 3 in the morning making noises. You know what I mean? Or clanging or whatever. But a lot of people still see shadows, and a lot of people get afraid of that shadows. And do you know who I blame about shadows? I blame TV and I blame the movies. Okay, I do because from whenever they put a TV show on that talks about shadow figures or whatever, um, in movies with shadow figures, no, and then people get scared. I remember that one movie came out, The Lady in Black came out the very next day, the very first day after that movie came out. I got 25 emails saying that they saw The Lady in Black. Can you come to my house? And I'm like, no, you didn't. You just couldn't see. And doing all those investigations, um, you kind of look at the email and you kind of read it and you kind of know like it's a bunch of horse crap. You know what I mean? But what I did was they would leave their number and I would actually talk to them. I'd make the phone call. I wouldn't not answer any emails. I would talk to them people.
Mm-hmm.
And I come to find out it's just people that just want to be recognized. They want to have their 15 minutes of fame and they just want somebody to listen to them. And you know what? That's okay. You know, because see, as you know as well as I know, people just want to be heard. You know, I can actually say Taps did a good thing when they came out with their show at the beginning because
Yeah.
what it did was it got the opportunity. It got yes, it got the opportunity for people who were afraid to talk about stuff that was happening in their houses. Do you know what I mean? They were afraid to, talk about it. And after Taps came out with that show, okay, then people started to open up. And I give kudos to Taps. I really do for doing
Then
that.
what happened was, then you had Ghost Adventures come out, and they only did main locations. They didn't do the house calls. And then
Right.
somehow the ghost hunters jumped on that same theme and stopped doing. They stopped doing the
Mhm.
house calls after that. They only did haunted locations.
Right.
Why did that
And all
happen?
the other, because people were getting a lot more. More than likely, they were probably getting a lot of viewers. You know what I mean? Or maybe the producer of Taps was saying, "Hey, they're doing better. They're doing better than us. So why don't we go and you know go to different places? And maybe our numbers will come up. See how all it is about numbers." Um, and that's the truth. Do you ever hear Beyond? Who's that chick in that cop that had a show?
Oh, I
Uh,
know who you're talking about. Yes.
okay, well they had
City
a
Credit.
thing. They had a show beyond that show. I forget the name of the show, but Hollywood called me and they said, "Okay, I'll do it." I was supposed to be do psychic, go into the house and well, long story short, went out there. It took 2 days to film me for only 2 minutes. Okay, and I had to. say what the producers wanted me to say.
So it was scripted.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That just sums up everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to sign a, because I know when you go to be on ghost adventures, they make you sign a non-disclosure, so you can't if it's you can't talk about that you read from a script or
no. The only non-disclosure thing that I knew I had to sign was I couldn't say anything to nobody before the show was put up. You know, before the show started, before it was aired, I couldn't say nothing to people. And that happened to me like 3 or 4 different times where I had to keep my mouth shut and I couldn't even tell nobody, you know. If you go on YouTube and you YouTube search TAPS or whatever their name was back then, Carnegie Library in Homestead, okay, I'm the first one you see. Yeah.
I've been to that library.
Yeah, very haunted, very, very haunted. My friend Drake Bowman from the Oakmont Paranormal Society, okay, he does a thing over there for the library every Halloween. You know, he takes little groups out for investigations, and then after that's all over with, we got the run of the library. And it's very haunted. Oh my gosh. And it's really, really crazy. Here in Pittsburgh, you have the Carnegie Libraries, all right, all over the place. They're all haunted. Another really haunted one is the Carnegie Library is haunted. It's down in Brownsville, PA.
I haven't been to that one.
Yeah, the one over here in Carnegie, that's haunted too. You know, and I love them. I love libraries. They're haunted as hell.
There's one in around Indiana. It's in the town of Indiana. I went to school at IUP for my undergrad.
My son went there.
Yeah, ultimate party town, right?
No, he didn't party. He studied, man.
I did too. But there is a library there in downtown that is very haunted. It's not part of the school. It's actually in town there, like right off Main Street, very close to where the court is with that big gold clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a gold, what do you call those things? Like a gold tower clock. For some reason, that clock just really stands out. But if you go around the corner there, the library's right there.
Right. Huh. Never been into the little town of Indiana. Just made it up to the college area. That was about it. But, yeah. So, and you got to also realize, too, your viewers got to realize, too, that every freaking building in the world has a ghost.
Well, we're future ghosts, so it makes sense.
Right. We are. And every place has a ghost.
You know, quite frankly, I feel like we can draw in that energy anyhow, if it's haunted or not. Sometimes it might not be the building. It might be you going into a place. You might be drawing something to you.
Yeah, but my past experiences, honey, and anybody will tell you, whoever was in my group, I would literally have to sit out in the car for 2-3 hours because once I walked into the house, they all left. They couldn't get no evidence at all. Not one iota of, not even a little hit off the K2 meter. Could not do it. Okay. And so what would happen is that I would have to leave, sit in my car, freeze my butt off, right? And then the minute I leave, they got all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Did you scare them away?
So I guess I did. You know, I don't know why. That's for another show. That's for another show about that one. But no, right?
I get like a lot of EVPs all the time. So just today.
Go ahead. I got something to say after that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, say it. And then I'll tell.
Who would not want to talk to you, sweetie? If I was a ghost, I'd be up in your ear all the time. I'd be like, just saying, "Hi, CL, how are you? This is your best buddy, Shawn." You know.
It's true though. I do. I get a lot of EVPs I don't know what it is, but I get them everywhere I go. And
Hmm.
I was interviewing, and I don't even tell you the house because the audience next So next issue of the magazine, the headliner is Ensfield. You know that haunted house up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
The way I conduct those interviews whenever I'm writing like that is I'll record it with a little digital recorder, which somewhere around here, and then I upload it into Adobe Edition so that I can reference it while I'm writing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, Jay, the guy who I'm interviewing, he's talking about the original owner of the house. This house was built in 1771, and he's talking about how he thinks this guy, he was definitely a Revolutionary War veteran. It says it right on his tombstone. I was able to dig that up, but Jay seems to think that he fought on the British side, which kind of makes sense when you consider the history of the house. But as he's talking, he's describing this guy to me, and this interview went on for 2.5 hours. I have there's nothing on it, EVP wise, but as soon as he starts talking about this guy, I kid you not, you hear a fife and drum in the background for 15
Sweet.
seconds, and then it stops. And I don't know how to make it play on here, unfortunately, to where you can hear it, but I'll post it later on. But yeah, you hear a fife and like from that era, from a revolutionary, like you hear the drum and you hear those little flutes. At
That's
first
cool
I
stuff.
thought, I was sitting there writing this morning and I thought, what is that? Is that an ice cream truck or something? And then I started listening and it's like, oh, that's what it is. And then I
Right.
played I didn't play Yankee Doodle. I played a different one. And it sounds exactly the same. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding
That's
me?
cool.
Over the phone?
No. Have you ever got an EVP off your show?
I have. Yeah.
I was on Lori's, the Angel Rock, and we were there talking, and I heard a little girl. We heard a little girl, and then, honest to God, later on in the show, it sounded like somebody was talking on the CB. It was really, really cool. Everybody heard it. So yeah.
That's really cool. I love when that happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, but
You know, that's the magic of the paranormal, though. And I don't know what it is, Shawn. I don't mean to rant about these paracons and the celebrities. I just feel like we really lost the magic in the paranormal with all of this.
we did.
Because
We did. I admit it. I agree with you 100%. We did lose the magic, and it's sad. But just think about it, though, hon. We were the pioneers. We're the pioneers that started this. Okay, and I thought maybe with the youngsters, the young people starting up their paranormal groups, you know what I mean, and saying, okay, now we can take a break and relax. But then we sit back. Or I'll just say I sit back, and I just look at all of them, and I'm like, no. You know what I mean? They're too damn serious. I mean, you don't have to be serious. My number one rule in my group for like the longest time was go and have fun while you do this. Gotta have fun. But a lot of people don't want to. They just want to get serious about it. And then they talk in that deep voice or that stern voice. We are going to go something. And
or they all
it's
stand
just
there with their arms crossed, looking at
exactly
me.
what's the first. Well, I blame what's his name, Zach Bagans, on that one because his boys used to do that. I mean, and it's like, okay, if you want to act like, if you want to be hard and like angry looking, go for it. But don't bother me. It just says if that's what you need to do to make it right, then do it. You know, I can't judge them. I can't tell them that it's wrong. I know I could tell them that it looks kind of silly, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? I don't. And I'm not saying that out of being an asshole about it, but
He's been doing it for the last,
I just,
I don't even know how long he's been on TV now, like 15 years or something. But
is that?
yeah, it seems like though everybody else, that's what they copy him. They do
Exactly.
this exact thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. You show me one ghost show out there that does something totally different than the other ones. You know, what's that one thing they call when they put a blindfold on and what do they
Yeah,
call it?
the Estes method.
Okay, so you see this Estes method, and I'm not knocking it because from what people tell me that it's good. But when I see it on TV, okay, my only complaint about it is, how do we know they're saying that to those people who are wearing those things? If you would have a little microphone, you know, or in there, or you know, you can't really trust EVPs anymore, even on shows, because they can always like minimize or distort it. You know, I know a dude that had that Odyssey, okay, and he went out. He said, "Watch this, Shawn," and he took audio of trees, no, of leaves rustling on the ground. He literally made those leaves talk.
Really?
Yes, he was that good.
Because of the whispering sounds. Like I used to have a, well, not used to, he's still a good friend. I have a sound engineer friend back in Nashville who is he's a pretty well-known musician. And
Mm-hmm.
he and I go back and forth on EVPs a lot. He's one of the first guys I've taken an EVP to. And he totally believes that what I caught are actual spirits, but then he's always telling me, you got to be careful with the whispering, because if you bump the microphone a certain way, it will sound like whispering,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what frequency it's in.
And that's
So,
the one big mistake people would do on investigations. If they're doing an EV, they'll start whispering, and I'll say, don't whisper, don't whisper, don't whisper.
I had
Normal.
I had to learn that lesson because I didn't know.
Yeah, that's okay. But no, that's the one thing, you know, that I learned was you don't whisper. You cannot whisper nothing. Nope.
Yeah, and if you hear anything in the background, you have to mark it, that sort of thing. But
Yep.
yeah, he used to tell me about if you're walking through a cemetery, make sure you turn off the recorder, because he would say the same thing. Certain sounds will mimic, you know,
Mhm.
EVPs, and they're really not. It's just
Right.
how the recorder's picking up.
Exactly. And but I always had my recorder going on in cemeteries. You know, I would have to test my abilities to see if it's like fake or non-fake. But that was a long time ago. I don't know if the paranormal field will ever get back to where it was before. Um, do I hope it does? Yeah. And I hope people have a better mindset on it, instead of, what I meant was that I hope people will go out and find the truth, you know, the evidence and stuff like that, and not make a big mockery of the whole thing. And that's what I want to see.
Or just continue to make it into a just for clicks thing on social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
That's
I
it,
wanted to
yeah.
ask you real quick. I know we're getting down there already. I can't believe it. Um, so one of my favorite all-time artists passed away this week, Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
which I'm sure, you know, it's everybody's favorite. But um, what do you think of these mediums out there on social media who are claiming to have contacted him? I've come across at least like 10 of them now.
Bullshit. It's bullshit. They're all they want clicks. All they, the more clicks, the more money they get. I know some very good mediums. I know, top of the line mediums, and the ones that say, "Oh, I listened to Ozzy told me to tell you everybody this." I'm like, no, he didn't. And that's the way I look at it. I don't even say nothing to them when I look at them and they start talking, and all of a sudden they bring up Ozzy, and I'm like, let the dude rest. He ain't talking to you. He don't want nothing to do with you. He has grandbabies that he has to look over. He has a family he has to watch over. He's not coming to you. It's all about getting clicks. It's all about to be recognized.
It's interesting because the way I was taught with mediumship, I went to, I was taught under some people from Lily Dell, and they teach like the evidential based mediumship, and they go into this whole thing about, and a lot of people out there might not agree with that. That's fine. You take what you want, but the way I was trained is that if you're reading for somebody, you have to have like that connection with somebody in front of you. So to contact your relatives, you're kind of like the gate key for that. There has to be something there that will connect me with that person. So for me to connect with something like Elvis, I mean, there's no, and I'm not like at his house or anything like that. There's no reason for Elvis to get in touch with me for any reason. There's no message there, so.
How do you know he's dead? How do you know he's dead? He's alive.
Elvis
is alive, buddy. Come on. Michael Jackson is still, come on. They're alive. They're alive.
He might be hiding out in Pahrump somewhere, is what I hear. But Elvis,
look at Anne Hesh. Look at Anne Hesh. Did she? I don't think she's dead. They just covered her up. And that's another thing I don't really want to get into, conspiracy. Throw one out there and you're just going down rabbit holes for something that you shouldn't be going down rabbit holes for, that I won't go down the rabbit holes for. But no, I have a few comments about Lilydale, but I'm not going to say them because.
Oh, tell me! I want to hear.
No.
You don't agree with it? Well,
we'll just say I disagree with maybe 60% of them up there, because again, they live in Lilydale and they give readings and they have all kinds of crystals laying out on their tables. I just had a bad experience with Lilydale people, man. I really did.
It's interesting.
There's a lot of people out there that I know that went to Lilydale and they love them. And I'm not trying to be a Shawnee Downer here. I'm not.
Oh, I know. And I can see what you're saying, because here's what I don't agree with is I don't necessarily agree with gallery readings. Because when you have 50 people in a room and you start saying stuff, oh, I feel somebody that died of cancer, chances are very high that you're going to have at least one person out of 10 with somebody in their family that had died of cancer. That's just the statistics of it.
Right.
Or, oh, I'm picking up this lady who she's got brown hair and she's heavy set. Chances are, again, somebody in that room is going to identify with that. So,
number one culprit was John Edwards.
Yeah.
He was fake.
I just feel like, for me, the mediumship part is like, it's about healing for the person that you're reading for.
Right.
Or giving them some kind of hope. And when you're doing that in a gallery style, I don't understand how that's healing or helping anybody.
They're not, to be honest with you, straight out, they're not. John Edwards, people had to fill out a freaking questionnaire before they had even got tickets for the show. And he was busted because a lot of the stuff that he was saying pertain what he got from the questionnaire. You know, they would look at the question, you know, and you have a group of 10 people, and there's a lady that wrote down cancer, this, the name, the whole 9 yards, and he would look at that and he would go with that. And of course, the lady's going to jump up and down. It's just a bunch of horseshit.
I think there are some really good people though at Lilydale. I was trained.
No, I agree. I'm not knocking all of them. I'm just knocking some of them.
I don't think this individual does galleries either, come to think of it.
What do you think of the Long Island medium?
Absolutely no.
I love her hair. I love her hair. Her nails are great.
You know, and it seems like there's always a medium. There's a medium of Hollywood. There's a medium of New Jersey. There's a medium. They always come up with like they're the medium of that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
The people I know that do this stuff for real, they're not out there. Their names are not out there.
Look at Sylvia Gordon. Okay, she made a shitload of money off of writing books. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I do not really care for the person. I know she's dead now, but she wrote a lot of books, and she was always on TV on the Montel Williams show. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I just have no. I took her with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I did it. I took her with a grain of salt.
I think the thing to look at when it comes to these people is, one, you follow the money. You know, where's all this money going, and, you know, that sort of thing. But the second part, most important, are they actually helping anybody?
I can't answer that. I cannot answer that question, because you would have to ask the person that they were actually talking to, you know. And I'm sure there were people that didn't get the answers that they were looking for, you know what I mean? And they just felt bad, you know what I mean? And then, you know, it's really, really sad the way I look at it. So I get a reading from John Edwards, and he tells me a bunch of bullshit, and I'm so happy and gay and happy and all that good crap, right? And then I go and I start telling my friends, and my friends tell me that I'm full of shit. Do you know what I mean, huh? And seriously, I'm full of shit. Why do you listen to that man? Why'd you pay all that money to go hear that? Blah, 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 blah. You know, so it's a lose-lose situation from what I understand. But then again, if you know how to talk to people, and and stuff like that, and you have some good charisma, then you could probably, you know, sell a bridge to somebody in Alaska, you know. But
I had a reading from a famous, I don't know if he's famous, but he's pretty well known in the paranormal realm. I had a reading done just a few years ago. And this guy claims to like channel Jesus and Janice Joplin and all these different, he's been on TV, you know, channeling like famous people left and right. And this guy couldn't even pick up on like a friend that passed away a few years ago in my life.
Right.
You know, didn't mention it. You know, and that doesn't mean to say that he's fake, you know, just because maybe this individual didn't come through or something, but all he said was like a bunch of gibberish that made no sense to me.
Look how much money he made.
Yeah, spirit guide stuff that you can't prove, and yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
You know, I do readings. Okay. Every now and then I'll go, but on the girl will ask me if I wouldn't mind filling in for somebody for a show, right? And I said, sure. If I'm off, I'll be happy to do it for you. And I read from the animal medicine cards. All right, I don't do tarot. I do animal medicine. And when I do my readings, it's not about the future, okay? It's about what's happening to that person at that specific time. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they say, well, am I going to win the lottery? I said, no, I don't know. Are you? Okay. And then you get the ones, you'd be sitting there, right? And they'd be coming up, well, what's my name? I said, I don't know. You tell me. What is your name? I don't know your name. You know, and both said, I'll tell you, I'll share this one story, and I think you got to get going here.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this one story, and this is true. I was down in Washington, PA, with a bunch of readers, right? We were doing a show down there, and I just saw this girl looking at me, and like, I mean, she was waiting for me to get done. So I knew she wanted to come to my table. Okay. So she's headed toward the table, and before she sat down, I looked at her and I said, you better take that ring out of your purse, put it on your finger, because you have a tendency to lose things. And if you go home and you don't have that ring on, your husband's going to divorce you. She dropped her purse, put the ring on, and gave me $20 and left. Just like that. You know, I didn't have to use cards. You know, and I'm not saying that I'm like a very good psychic reader. I'm not. I mean, I can just look at you and give you a reading, and I'm not going to give you a reading because we're tight. We're good friends, so I would not read. But I won't. I won't do readings for families or my very close friends. I would not do it. But I hardly ever do that anymore. You know what I mean? I don't. And I don't charge an arm and a leg for it. I'm like, and the way I used to do it, people would ask me, and I could tell. I could tell if people needed a reading. You could just tell if they needed one. And I would give them a reading, and they said, I really don't have that much money. I said, well, here's how you can pay me back. They said, okay. I said, find somebody and help them for 5 minutes. Or make the person smile. Help an old lady across the street. And then you paid me back. You know? That's how I would do it.
Interesting. I love that. How many of these celebrity readers and stuff out there would do something like that? Like the money they're getting paid to do it. What if they went and bought groceries for a needy family down the street or something like that, just once?
Don't know. Maybe there's some out there. Maybe there isn't. You know? And I've done it, and I'm no celebrity. Well, maybe I am, from what I understand. But
The wise one.
nah, am I? That's right. Moses look. No, no, I've been in line with people. You could just was hurting, and you knew it, and you just pay for their groceries. Like it was not break out the card and pay for it, you know. And it's not like I did it out of, you know, I did it out of the gracious thing of my heart, but it's just that for some reason this situation, the mind, like pay for these ladies or guys' groceries, you know, and I do, and I had no regrets. I have no regrets.
Well, Shawn, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You're welcome. What's that?
Where can people find you, old wise one?
Oh, wise one. That's my nickname now. How they can find me? You can go to my Facebook page, Shawn Kelly, or the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page. I am on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:30 on Sundays now until they find somebody, and then from 8:10 to 9:10 on Tuesday nights. And my friend CL, she follows me, so you have to go over there and give her some love. You know what I mean? And after you watch my show. But you can find me Sunday and Tuesday nights on UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Thank you, CL, for having me on. And I'm going to get you on my show. One of these days, you keep avoiding me, and I don't know why you keep avoiding me.
It's a travel schedule. It's horrible.
Bull crap. Bull crap. I don't believe
That's
that.
my travel schedule. Usually it's always I have to fly back on Sundays, and that's where the hang up is. It's not always on a plane. I have to take the call from a airport somewhere, which I could do. That might be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Yeah. Hey, I'm 35,000 feet in the air. What do you want, Shawn?
Well, they won't let you do it from a plane, so it'll have to be from the...
Well, just sit in the bar and have a beer and come on. Hey, thank you again, sweetie.
Thank you, Shawn. That's my good buddy, Shawn Kelly from Into the Night. Don't you guys just love him? I'm sorry to rant tonight, you guys. I'm just a little unnerved about some of this stuff with paranormal right now. And, it's going to pass, and some of these people are just going to go away. And it is what it is. It's a phase right now that we're going through in paranormal. And I don't mean to diss anybody. That's not my intention at all. It's just some of the bullying needs to stop. And if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're just totally offended about what I said, I mean, if the shoe fits, guys, it is what it is. Stop bullying people. Stop weaponizing people against others just because you don't agree with them, or maybe you didn't get what you want. In this case, that's what it is. So anyhow, I'll see you guys again next week. You've been listening to The Gateway, broadcast from the edge of the Mojave, where the strange slips through the cracks, and we are live on United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans. Until next time.